Welcome to Delivering Miracles, a podcast to teach women like you tips and strategies on how you can have a safer pregnancy so you can bring home a healthy baby. I'm your host and your high-risk pregnancy expert, Parijat Deshpande. I can't wait to chat with you. I think we've reached a point of technology and the internet and social media where we're starting to recognize that there was this initial boost, so to speak, of, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. We have access to information that is accessible to everybody and there's no hierarchy anymore. And I think especially in the medical system, especially as patients, it changed the dynamic completely in terms of this hierarchical model. I mean, I know it's still very much present, but it's really pressuring us to change it completely because now patients have access to the direct sources of information that a lot of professionals have. And I'm not just saying doctors, I'm talking about any kind of clinical professionals. Patients and clients have access to the same information. And it's really cool. And I think at the beginning, it was an extremely empowering experience to go, yeah, I can find this information too. And somewhere along the way, we started kind of going downhill because it went from we've got access to the data. This is awesome. Now we can talk kind of on the same level in terms of I know what you know it from the professional expertise. I now know it in the context of my body. To now, people can say all kinds of things on social media, and it's really hard to know what's factual and what is being misinterpreted or what is not actually helpful advice. And that's scary. You know, I spend a lot of time on social media for the business, connecting with people and connecting with my community and just learning from other people as well. And it's, you know, there are days when I'm just scrolling and some days I'm scrolling through the lens of a professional and I'm looking to see what's out there. And some days I'm scrolling at it through the lens of being a patient, going, what is this? What does a feed like this look like and seem like to a patient who may not have the education or the knowledge that I do professionally? What does that look like? And there are so many moments when I get so frustrated and overwhelmed when I'm looking through that lens, because you see one post saying XYZ is the answer to whatever. And literally the next post after that is XYZ is the worst thing you could possibly do for the same whatever. And how confusing is that, especially when you're not sure where to go or what to do, and when you're overwhelmed and when you're scared, and especially if you are scared because you don't know what's going to happen to your child. I mean, the stakes are so high and you're just looking for some reassurance and you're looking for some support and you're looking for somebody who gets it, right? So we're in this weird place now where at one time it was, knowledge. And now we're seeing the flip side of it, which is, wait, which knowledge is actually the one that I should be listening to and which is accurate and which is harmful? And now I can't tell the difference because everybody has access to the tools to make beautiful graphics and everybody can sound like an expert and I don't know where to look. And it is in that mess that I get extremely upset when there are people who clearly have a tremendous amount of expertise and education and are still sharing incorrect information. And I know we've talked about this before. We have done an episode quite recently about this before, but this is one that I really could not hold off on. I've actually been sitting on this particular quote for months because I didn't know how to respond to it. I didn't know. And today I've decided I still don't know exactly how I want to respond to it, but I do know what I want to say. And so I'm just going to say it. It's going to be unfiltered. And this is it's too important for me not to say something. Okay. I saw on a social media platform, on one particular one, but I've seen this being shared everywhere, a quote that I am paraphrasing, but not really paraphrasing too much. It's essentially something to the effect of, if stress caused infertility, the human race would have died out a long time ago. I mean, just even saying that, my blood is boiling. And I share this because this is somebody who has a very prominent place in the medical community and is now getting a ton of exposure in the media, okay? All with a statement that is physiologically impossible. I mean, there's not a lot of hard facts, right, about the human body because it's so complex, but there are some, right? Like, we would not be alive if we did not have a head. That is a fact, right? This statement is also blatantly wrong. And I hate that it is being spread everywhere with women going, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's not even true. It's not even possible to be true. And I want to take a second and explain why. Number one, and we talked about this just recently on an episode, stress does not cause infertility. Stress does not cause pregnancy complications. Can we stop? Can we stop with assuming that people think the human body is that simplistic, that there is a very simple cause and effect here. Oh, and stress caused it. So there we go. That's what it is. I think we are much smarter than that to know that there is no linear, simple. So I think we want that, but I think we're much smarter than that to believe something so simplistic. Okay. So number one, that's not even true. And I think all of us know this, but to discount the role of stress in fertility and in pregnancy complications is disempowering women in the worst possible way. And the reason that we do this is because we assume stress is a mindset issue. We assume stress is a strength issue. If you just get it together, you won't be so stressed out. That is a physiological falsity. Is falsity even a word? I don't know, but that's the word that came out of my mouth just now. It's not accurate. And oh my gosh, it just makes me so angry that people with a huge platform are not, and the same people who are discounting alternative medicine and holistic medicine and integrative medicine and functional medicine going, there's not enough data, are not taking the time to learn about the data that's actually there as it pertains to stress physiology. That they too have bought into the idea that stress is a mindset issue when it is not. Let's recap. Stress is a set of physiological chain reactions. So this happens at a cellular level when your brain and your nervous system perceives a threat. Okay? That is what stress is. The sensations that happen because of that perception, that is what we call stress. Okay? That's it. Nowhere in there does it say anything about what's happening mentally or cognitively, because I'll get to this in detail in a second, but when there is a perception of threat, the cognitive parts of your brain are offline because they work too slowly to catch on. We need something that is lightning speed to get you out of there, okay? So that's what stress is. That basic premise is missing in a statement that says if stress was causing infertility, the human race would have died out years ago. Okay? That basic premise is missing. Secondly, stress is not the problem. If you have read Pregnancy Brain, I have said this throughout the book. Stress is not the problem. Our bodies are tremendously powerful at handling very high levels of that physiological change that happens when we experience and perceive threat. Our bodies can handle a lot of that. Stress is not the problem. We are built to be able to handle that. The problem is when we do not get to come out of that state into rest and repair. There's actually a state in our bodies that when we are in it, there's actual cellular repair happening. That is the state we need to be in most of the time. When we are not in that state most of the time, we start to see health problems because we are not meant to be in the state of threat, danger, survival mode, whatever you want to call it, that creates those sensations that we call stress, right? My mouth is dry, my heart is racing, my palms are sweaty, my stomach's hurting, I'm restless, I can't relax, my head's spinning. Those things that we call stress are sensations that happen because of the physiological changes that are created in our bodies when our nervous system identifies a threat. right? When we're in that mode for too long, we start to see damage in our bodies because the cellular repair is not happening, right? And when you take that knowledge and you apply it to evolution, like this person has done, you can see exactly where the problem is. It's not the stress that affected fertility or affects fertility back in the day. And I don't know how many years, tens of thousands of years this person was referring to, but let's say back in primitive times, right? What was the source of danger? Let's say a saber-toothed tiger. I don't know if that's actually true, but let's just go with it, right? You see a saber-toothed tiger, you hear a saber-toothed tiger, you smell a saber-toothed tiger, something happens that tells you your life is in danger. You grab all your stuff. If you've got kids or elderly or whoever, you take what you need and you run, okay? And that happens in a very short amount of time, within seconds, right? You have a perception, you hear something or you smell something or you have a sensation that danger is present. And without thinking about it, your body goes into survival mode. Your nervous system shifts, okay? It actually changes. And it changes in a way that alters your immune system and your hormonal system, among other body systems, right? Including your digestive system, your cardiovascular system, all of that changes to get you to run. Because the assumption is you're not going to fight the saber-toothed tiger, but if you decided to do that, or if that was the only way out, your body would make the shifts accordingly to do that. And this is all happening outside of conscious awareness, okay? You are not thinking yourself into this state. It happens outside of conscious awareness because thoughts are too slow, okay? And then you run, and you run as fast as you can, and you find another cave, and you're safe, and you take a look around, and you with your community of people are looking around, you're looking to check and make sure, okay, I don't see the saber-toothed tiger, I don't see it anywhere. Great, we're safe. What happens in that moment? Your nervous system gets you out of survival mode and into rest and repair. And that's where you stay until the next possible attack comes. That is why stress has nothing to do with the human race dying out. Because if you compare that example to the way that we live right now, we are far more stressed out, so to speak, than our ancestors were. Far more stressed out. Because we are perceiving danger in our everyday lives constantly. Way more often than our ancestors were. And we are constantly staying in that state of survival mode and not getting enough opportunity to get into rest and repair. So then you might say, well, okay, is the human race dying out now? Doesn't seem like it, right? It doesn't seem like it because stress doesn't cause infertility and stress isn't wiping out the human race. Although you can say stress is a gigantic piece of the puzzle when it comes to many, many, many health epidemics, chronic illness, autoimmune diseases. I mean, cancer. There's so much research about the impact of stress on cancer because of the immunological changes that happen due to the shifts in your nervous system when you perceive threat. And if you're living in that threat for a long time and you're not getting a chance to rest and repair, we start to see illness. We start to see health problems. And in the case of fertility and pregnancy, we start to see health conditions that impact fertility and pregnancy. Is that wiping out the human race? Of course it's not. Look at the numbers right now. It is such a gigantic leap. It is almost like it's like an inflammatory concept just to get you to say stress has nothing to do with this. But as long as we keep that piece out of the conversation, we are expecting women to be satisfied with 99 pieces of a 100-piece puzzle. And I am not okay with that. Especially when there are tools and techniques and support that are possible that actually work at the cellular level to get you to safety and out of survival mode into rest and repair. Because when you can do that, we do see an improvement in fertility and pregnancy complications. Is it to the point where the human race is going to suddenly quadruple in size if we were able to give this support to everyone in the world? No, it's not that simplistic. But it does matter. It does matter. And I am tired of seeing women being fed incorrect information when there is decades of research that is proving this wide sweeping, generalized, incorrect social media post wrong. Gosh, I'm tired of it. It's not fair, is what it is. The medical system is broken as it is. I think we can all agree on that. Whether you have insurance included or not, the system's broken. And it's broken for both sides, for patients and for providers. Nobody's happy in the system that it is right now, right? I mean, I'm generalizing. No, there are people who are happy. The system is broken. We've got access to this incredible platform that could be used to empower patients and is now swinging in the other direction. Providers fighting with each other, going, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. And I realize I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing it right now. But what I want you to understand is that I'm not doing this to push an agenda. I'm doing this to encourage you to understand your body better. And if you can understand that stress has nothing to do with how you think, I hope that what you take away from that is that it's not my fault. I mean, if you think about it, it is happening outside of your conscious awareness because you believe, you sense somewhere that there's danger. And in that way, your body is functioning absolutely properly. It's keeping you alive. That is the whole point of the stress system, is to keep you alive. The problem is not the stress. It's not stress physiology. It is not being stressed. It is that we are not getting enough opportunity to come out of it, to repair from that. And that what we're perceiving as danger now is not actually dangerous to us. Presentations at work, appointments that we're about to have, having visitors come and stay with us, family issues. There's nuances and it's gray, and I am generalizing a bit, but it's not the same as your life being in immediate danger as with the saber-toothed tiger. Now, that said, and this is where I love the work that I do, is that there are experiences that do threaten life. When you have a miscarriage, ectopic pregnancy, biochemical miscarriage, stillbirth, infant loss, prematurity, you experience the edge of life and then you experience the loss of life. That is like the saber-toothed tiger coming. There really is life at danger, that is in danger, right? Even when you have pregnancy complications and you suddenly have an increased risk of health issues for you or baby, now you're actually face to face with the saber-toothed tiger, right? And the cool thing is that I find to be super, super cool is that unlike a saber-toothed tiger, all of this is happening internally, which does put you at tremendous risk of experiencing fertility, pregnancy, and birth trauma. Absolutely. And that if we are able to give you the support that you need to help you turn off that threat response, that danger response, that survival mode, and get you into rest and repair so you feel safe again, you can actually impact the complications that are threatening you and your baby. Not all of them, but many of them. The ones that are responsible or are responsive to changes to your hormonal system, your immune system, or your nervous system will get better. That's the premise of Pregnancy Brain. That's what I want you to take away from this. Will they be cured? We're not going for cured, no. But what we're trying to do is get you to stay pregnant as long as possible. And that is the power of the body. That is the power of the body that we miss. That is the message about how powerful you are that we completely avoid and we gloss over, or we don't even talk about when we're trying to sit here and go, stress doesn't cause infertility. Let's look a little deeper. Let's actually understand what's happening here. Because when you can see that, the shifts to your nervous system to get into rest and repair mode, so you are feeling safe in your body, have immediate shifts to your hormonal system and your immune system, among other systems. Immediate. I mean, to the point where I have clients who, have had the scariest of experiences. Either they or their children in previous pregnancies their lives have been threatened or lost. Children's lives have been lost, right? They've had pregnancy losses of all kinds. They've lived through some of the worst things possible. And so, of course, when they are pregnant again, it's terrifying because you're essentially going back into the saber-toothed tiger den. You're kind of walking yourself back in going, maybe I won't get eaten this time, right? Of course you're terrified. Of course that threat response is going to come back on because the last time you did this, life was threatened or lost. And when we are able to teach her how to feel safe in her body again, things change. I will never forget this client that I worked with who had such a difficult journey, so hard. Her life was threatened with a miscarriage. Then, of course, she lost the baby's life right through the miscarriage. And she had multiple losses. And then she was pregnant again. And in her very first appointment with her OB, her blood pressure was through the roof. And she also had a history of hypertension. So this was very concerning. But we had worked together prior to her getting pregnant, and she stopped the nurse and she said, "Hold on, can we do this later?" Which is always something you can ask for. Many PAs and nurses are aware that when blood pressure is unnaturally high, they'll check again maybe at the end of the appointment or once, because sometimes the anticipation of the appointment is just so high that they'll do it later. That's fine. But even then, if that's not coming down, which it didn't for her, she actually tapped into the tools that I taught her on how to feel safe in her body again, because she knew, right, the sensations that were cluing her in that she's in survival mode. She's walked into the den of the saber-toothed tiger or the bear, as the example has been that I've always used. She's right there and she needs to get to safety, except there's nowhere for her to run. So she's got to create that safety in her body. And that requires changes at the cellular level that do not require anything mental or cognitive. You can't think yourself to safety. And so she tried a couple of the tools that we knew were working really beautifully for her. And this is why I love doing the work so personalized. There's no one thing that's going to work. There's no one pill. I mean, if that was the case, we'd all have it, right? It's very unique and very different for each of us. And we've got to find what that is. And we figure that out by seeing how your body changes. And so she said, "Give me 2 minutes." And she tried this tool out that worked beautifully for her before. And she was like, "I don't really know." She emailed me later. I wasn't really sure how much this was going to work, but I tried it anyway. And then they redid her blood pressure. It went from extremely high, like to the point where they were thinking, "Do we need to get you on medication?" to completely normal. Completely normal. She avoided a diagnosis of gestational hypertension, which is amazing. She avoided being overtreated for something that she didn't even have. And she, I think, most importantly, learned how she can actually influence her body and then see the impact of it through measurements. That means something within the context of her pregnancy and within the context of the medical community. I think, and I mean, the power that you gain back by going, "I did that. I just did that." And especially after you have felt like she did, and like most of my clients do, and like I did, the power that you gain back when you have felt like your body has failed you and does not respond to anything that you've done and just kind of is breaking down, and then to see it responding the way that you want to and that you know that it can is, I mean, there are no words for that. There's a tremendous amount of power in that, in knowing that you can influence your body. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And that's why statements like these get really under my skin and raise my blood pressure into very high ranges, because it's just flat out wrong. It's not based in physiology. It's not based in biology at all. It is based on the wrong understanding of what stress even is. Do we need more research? 100%. Is it coming? I don't know. I mean, it's going to require valuing what we consider the mind-body connection, which, I mean, there really isn't one. It's like calling it a heart-body connection. Like, of course they're connected. Can't have a body that's functioning without a heart. Same kind of thing. We just haven't gotten there yet. It involves valuing women's health, and it involves valuing women's reproductive health, which is a whole other conversation that we could have at another date. But what I want you to know is that enough research is out there. Enough data is out there. And the people who are studying it, they know. It's out there. It is there. Stress does not cause infertility. It does not cause pregnancy complications, but it is a huge piece of the puzzle that's been missing. And the more we push it under the rug, we are continuing to disempower women. It's as simple as that. When you understand stress physiology and you understand that being in that survival mode has nothing to do with your thoughts and has nothing to do with it being your fault, it finally opens the door to having this conversation to go, how do I feel safe again in my body? How do I do it? Because now I know I can, I just don't know how. And then you go looking. You go looking for the right person or the right supports that are going to get you there, that are based on that have tools that are based on the actual physiology of your body. And when that happens, we see improvements to conception rates, to pregnancy rates, to actually increasing the length of pregnancy, even if you have complications. And that impact affects you positively, and it affects the next generation. And I hope that what you're hearing from this is that I'm not offering a cure-all. I'm not saying this is the thing. I'm saying this is the missing piece of the puzzle. There are many of you that are listening to this who cannot get pregnant without medical intervention, like I couldn't, right? There are many of you, like me, who cannot stay pregnant without medical intervention. I get it. Those are all of my clients. I generally do not work with women. For the most part, I do not work with women who are low-risk pregnancies. I mean, as you can see, I talk about high-risk pregnancies a lot for this reason, is because I want you to see that you can do both, especially if you need it. My family would not exist without tons of medical interventions. There were probably hundreds of people that were involved in my family being created. And it's not enough. It's necessary, but not enough. There is a tremendous power that is in your body that we forget to tap into, thinking the solution is somewhere out there. Part of the solution is somewhere out there, absolutely. But it is not the whole solution. And in tapping into this body system that is created for our purposes, it is literally created to help you get pregnant and stay pregnant as long as possible. And if that means you can get an extra day, an extra week in your pregnancy, that could mean everything for you and your child. That is why I do this work. Delivering Miracles started episode 1 with the power of fear, where I walk you through the last 15 days of my pregnancy. And I share with you the moment when I decided I am not going to stay silent. Because if I could see my preterm contractions stopping on the monitors, and I am not superhuman, I don't have any magical powers, there's nothing special about me. If I could defy odds and stay pregnant 15 days longer than my medical team thought was possible, which meant the difference between life and death for my son, then anyone can do it. And that is why today I want to end this podcast by showing you that you can do it too. There is a power in you that is not mystical. It's not spiritual necessarily. It can be, but there is an actual power inside of you that is built into your body from the day that you were born and continues to grow and develop and learn. That is found in your nervous system. There is an entire branch of that nervous system that is designed to help you be as healthy as possible. And I love doing this work because the nervous system, when we say we get to the root, that's it. Our nervous system touches every body system in our bodies, every single one. And so when you are taking all the supplements, when you're eating the perfect diet and you are exercising exactly as much as your doctor and your dietitian is asking you to do, and your blood sugar levels are still not, your blood glucose levels are still uneven, we look at the nervous system. When you are trying to relax, which never works, right, with any of this stuff, and you are trying to bring your blood pressure down, you're trying to, maybe you're even on medication and you keep having to increase your dosage, and it's still not working, we look at your nervous system. When you're having preterm contractions, every time you start worrying or you're panicking, we look at your nervous system and we go, what's keeping you in this survival mode? And how do we get you to safety when you are pregnant and the last time you were pregnant it wasn't safe? How do we do that? And that's what I teach my clients during pregnancy. And that's what I teach my Healing Hearts members after they are no longer pregnant. And it works. When we are able to get into rest and repair mode, our body just starts to work again. And again, it's not a cure. It's not a magic pill. It's not something that's magical in any way. You're just getting yourself back on track, living in the state that we are designed to live in most of the time. Unfortunately, modern society has pushed us in the opposite direction. And then you add on the fears and the worries and the overwhelm of infertility and pregnancy complications and losses and prematurity, and we live in survival mode for much longer than our bodies are designed to be able to function in that mode. Stress is not the problem. It's not being able to repair from that stress that's the problem. And the more we can get you into that state, even when things are not perfect or scary around you, the better the outcomes are going to be. They will. They will get better. I've lived through it. I see my clients going through this every day, and I'm seeing through the Healing Hearts community how much is possible with their health. Pain improves. They stop needing to see specialists for pain, for sleep, for so many health complications because it gets better when our bodies are able to repair. And that is the power that you carry with you every single day. And I don't want you to ever forget that. Quotes like these completely ignore that power. That's why I keep saying it's a disempowering statement, because it completely ignores the power that is built into your physiology right now. I believe that with my whole heart. Every cell of my being, from that moment when I was on hospital bed rest, the Wednesday before my son was born, and when I told myself, and I said to him out loud in that unusually quiet hospital room, if we survive this and we get to go home, I am changing my career and I'm going to come back and support women and teach them what is possible with their bodies, even when they've got complications. That fire's still there, and it burns brighter every day, and even brighter when I hear comments like these that are just wrong and false and not even possible. And I will not stop fighting for you to be taken seriously, to be heard, to be seen, and to show you what is possible, even when everything is falling apart and going so wrong. I will not stop, because your life and your health depends on it, and your future children's lives and health depend on it. This is too important to ignore and to push under the rug, and I will not stop. And it is for this reason, when I realize how much more work needs to be done, that I'm leaving you here with this final episode of Delivering Miracles. I'm not going anywhere. This is not goodbye, but there's so much work to be done. And I am spending my time with my private clients. I am spending my time in the Healing Hearts community, and I will be on different platforms, possibly even coming to an event near you to continue to spread this message, to continue to empower women to know what's possible with their lives and with their health when they're trying to grow their family, and how to heal when it's all over so they can actually enjoy the life that you have built, because you deserve it. Whatever that life ends up looking like, whether it's what you wanted or not, whether it's some version of what you wanted or not, you deserve that. And that power to do that resides in you. It's really there. It's just gotten buried under the rubble and all the cracks and the crap that's been thrown at you up until this point. But it's there. And my job is going to be to help you recognize that and to find it again and to help your body rest and repair. It has been such a pleasure being here with you on this podcast. I cannot say thank you enough for being on this journey with me. Never in a million years did I think I was going to start a podcast. And again, this is not goodbye. I may come back in a few months with another rant for you with what I've seen out in the world. But for now, there's so much work to be done. And I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to be spreading this message, and I'm going to be teaching, and I'm going to be guiding, and I'm going to hopefully see you at an event sometime in the near future. So if you'd like to stay in touch, if you'd like to know when I'm coming and where I'm coming and how we can stay in touch and be in contact still, head over to parijatdeshpande.com/delivering miracles, which is all one word, delivering miracles, and sign up for my newsletter list. And I will keep you posted on where I'm going to be and how we can connect again in the near future. Until then, keep sharing these episodes with your friends and your family who could benefit from hearing this message about the real raw side of family building from an empowering perspective where I don't feel like you're broken. I don't see you as broken, where there's an explanation for what's going on that maybe you haven't heard before, or simply to listen to a voice of somebody who's been through something similar and who gets what this is like. Keep sharing these episodes. They will be still available. Stay in touch with me on social media. Come say hi on Instagram or Facebook. Let me know what's resonating. Tell me how you're doing. I would love to get to know you. And again, if you want to stay in touch and know where I'm coming next, where you can find me, and any upcoming events that we have scheduled, head over to parijatdeshpande.com/delivering miracles, which is all one word. These links are all in the show notes. Sign up for the newsletter list and I'll let you know. And of course, if you want private support, I am here for you. The link to work with me is in the show notes as well. If you are done growing your family and you're ready to do the healing work, Healing Hearts is available for you. We'd love to have you join the community. There's so many ways to stay in touch. This is not goodbye. This is, and I'll see you in a different format very soon. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for allowing me into your lives and into your home these last few years. Thank you for allowing me to share my stories and the stories of others, to inspire you, to empower you, to inform you about what's possible with your body and with your health when you are on one of the most challenging journeys of your life, trying to grow your family. As I close out this episode, I thought I would ask myself the same question that I have asked all of my guests that have been on Delivering Miracles up until this point. What are your final words of hope for women who are listening in today? The very body that feels like it has let you down, that's betrayed you, that feels broken, that very body that you feel resentful towards, angry towards, sad about, that is the very body that holds the key to the power of your health and healing. It's right there. And I know it can be hard to see, but it's right there. And when you reach out and you're able to clear away all that debris, I hope that you can experience health and healing again, because I know it's possible for you. There is so much more power in your body than you are made to believe. Don't ever, ever forget that. Take it one day, one step at a time. You can do this.